Hello and welcome to our podcast, The Blossoming Unity. We are Dennis and Nicole, and we are here to introduce you into the conversation about different spiritual perceptions, techniques, methodologies in order for you to have inspiration for your day-to-day life. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Good morning or good evening. I am doing very well. Thank you so much. How about yourself?
I am good. I'm really good. Lots of transformation. Been doing
Yeah,
a
you
lot of
said
Zoom calls.
so. Yeah, I was participating one. Dennis is having those Zoom calls, those collective Zoom calls, and I was participating one yesterday. The group is so sweet. It's
Mm,
like a family.
yes. It's support, connection. That was
Mm.
the it started off as one thing. I was reaching out, had the divine download to start these Zoom calls with the collective, and for someone to have a safe place to be able to open, especially with everything being shut down and things slowly opening back up. There's been a lot of people who haven't been able to have that connection or even having anyone to talk to, and people who are going through these transformations needing someone there, or just for someone to say, hey, this is where I've been, this is where you can be, or this is where you can go. And it's great to have that support.
Very, very beautiful. I loved it. I was coming in and then I thought like, oh wow, that's really like a family. People are listening to each other. They're giving them advices.
Hmm.
It's like very, very sweet. Amazing. So what are we going to speak about this week?
Well, we can start off with the tarot reading that I just did. That'll be
Yeah.
being posted. Um, all I'm going to say, there's been a bubbling of, I mean, if you go to I.Am.Oneness YouTube or go to my Alley or Alley Vision and look at the tarot that's been posted, you can see the transformation throughout the weeks. That there's been this kind of like this recognition of your shadow, and finally bringing things into alignment, the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, and you know it's like at that stage where everything is coming into the light now. The whole reading was light, 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 light. It's now time for you to recognize where you've been and where you are now, and recognize that this is the moment to expand.
Yeah. And for this light, like there are many different ways how you can say that, how this translates
Mm,
into spirituality as well, and but also into real life. Like people often perceive spirituality as something apart from them.
mm,
I think that's a really interesting thing because there is still a very a separated reality between what you live on your inner journey and what you have to live in the outside world, in your job, in your company that you're going to, with your friends maybe. And light and darkness, I really love those discussions because basically it's there are many words for that. You could say light and darkness, but you
mm,
could also say constructive and destructive
yeah.
energy, like energies that you're co-creating something new or that you're destroying, so that would be the darkness.
Mm,
You could say shadow and sun. You could say good and bad. You could say positive and negative. And it's all the same of a dual perception of reality.
mm,
And I think it's really interesting to open up the discussion, also especially with people that consider themselves to be light workers, that consider themselves to be spiritual. Of course, light workers are important, but you have to understand that you're feeding into a game of duality when you consider yourself a light worker.
mm,
Because when you're working for the light, and I mean, it's important that if you feel called to do light work, that's what you need to do. but you're feeding into it needs to be balanced out in duality. So the dark forces, the energies that we don't want to co-create with necessarily, they have to balance that out. It's a dual planet. And on a dual planet, there will never be a reality where duality is not existing, because that's what we're here for. We're here to choose what we do, and we're here to figure out that we are above what we are in essence, is above this dual game, right? So yeah, that's what I feel to speak about.
It was like this, the quote that I got when I was in meditation. When you're too busy staring at the shadows, you forget that you're the light. So the light isn't a physical light. And what we need to recognize when we are working with the duality, and we recognize that, and we're working with the light and the dark, recognize the true light isn't a light that you can see. It's not a physical light. It's awareness. It's like when you recognize your awareness, it's like putting a spotlight on something, but it's not physically a light. So light workers, if you consider yourself a light worker, recognize that you're nothing but an awareness worker. You can
Yes.
say light
Oh,
worker,
I love that.
but you're an awareness worker. The whole thing, and it's the enhancement of perception. And as your awareness grows, perception grows. And then that's why we get these choices to enhance perception, to see from every angle, to be able to experience every angle. Not just as, little me. No, as everything.
There's this one amazing teacher. His name is called Dandapani. And Dandapani is an Indian guy. He lived in a Buddhist monk monastery and on Hawaii. And he is like, I think he's an amazing teacher. He's having 3 white stripes on his forehead, and he's just wearing monk clothes and some Rudraksha malas, like with the big ones. And what I really like about him is he's very clear about focus and energy. And he says, life is energy. Like, you can imagine your life to have a 100% energy per day, like a tank full of it, and harness it and direct it into the people and things that you love. So, and that's what Dennis says. When you're looking at your shadows, you forget that you're being light. This is exactly the thing. The question is, where does your awareness go to? And we are, unfortunately, we are taught a lot of things in school. Some things are probably more necessary than others. But what we're never taught is, like I heard in my childhood constantly, concentrate. You need to concentrate. Where's your head? Where are you? Like, because I was in disguise. So, but what we are never taught is how to concentrate. There's nobody taught us, like whole generations in the West are not taught how to concentrate. And what is concentration? It's the ability to have your awareness focused on a certain thing, and that you are the person, you are the one deciding where your energy flows. That's what it is, concentration.
Being fully present with the task at hand. Fully present.
Fully. And there's only, and this is the thing, the discussion, like they know that multitasking is not, nobody can do that. It's not possible. You cannot multitask because your energy cannot be divided. It's not, your focus is always at one thing. And that's okay. You at the moment you accept that it's physically not possible to diverse your energy into 2 spaces, even though if you're sitting in your awareness and even you're having at the same time the same perception of a lot of things, it's for fragments of seconds, but it's only at one thing at a time. So the capability to grow, the capability to concentrate, you would need to start to meditate, because that's the only thing how you can start to learn how to concentrate. It's so difficult in the beginning.
I
What
mean,
do you think about that?
we train our muscles. We go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same thing.
Some of us do, yeah.
You know, whenever we want to transform, to expand, we work at it, and we work at it, and we work at it, and we sit with it. It's the same thing with meditation. Some people, it just happens, and they're just in a meditative state. But if we're looking at the numbers of how that's happened, it's better to actually start focusing in on meditation, doing a particular practice, focusing on the breath. And meditation is highly misunderstood in the West. Highly.
Highly.
You know, we use the word meditation in the West. Really, what you're stepping into is a meditative state. So there's different techniques that you can do to be in a meditative state. That is breathing techniques. That is going and being completely present as you walk, as you do any particular activity. I know a lot of people remember times in their life when they were in that flow state. That's meditation. You were in the flow. You were in the Tao. You were just going with life. You were flowing with life and not against it. And that's what the traditional meditation practices is sitting down and being quiet. For me, that works for me. I can sit down and I can completely still everything within me. For others, they want to do something a little bit slower. They want to start off with a little bit of a smaller practice, doing it for 3, 5, 10 minutes. That is priming and being able to get yourself in the right state to where now it's becoming a muscle memory. Now you are being able to have cellular memory, genetic memory. Whereas time goes on, it's no longer a thought. Oh, I need to meditate. No, you get to a point where you're walking down the road and maybe something triggers you within, and you know on a cellular level the meditative state, and you just, I'm present. And now that trigger can be transformed into a different type of energy. You can point that energy somewhere else. That's why meditation is so important. It's being able to transform that energy and keeping that focus in one place.
And I think it's, you know, there's another misconception about meditation, and I think it's really important to speak about it. People say, I want to get rid of my thoughts. I hear that a lot. Like they're in therapy with me, or we work together, or I speak to them and they're like, yeah, I tried meditation, it doesn't work, my thoughts keep on going. It's not about not thinking. It's about connecting. Like what it's basically is, it's about connecting to infinity, to download energy into your finite being and to co-create with infinity. And thoughts are the most normal thing. The question is, where are those thoughts?
What are you identifying with? And that's the reason why you want to get rid of those thoughts, is you're identifying with something that you're not. Now, if you were having all these happy-go-lucky thoughts all the time, you wouldn't be wanting to get rid of them.
No. Why would you?
Exactly.
And it's not about thoughts. So Bettina, my business partner, she's really amazing. She's really practical. She's like the most pragmatic person I know. And she said to me, like, you know how I started meditating? I was like, no, because I didn't know. And she said, okay, I was sitting down. I put my clock on 5 minutes, and I was breathing in. I counted to 10, and I was breathing out, and I counted to 10. And when I was at 50, I knew I fucked up. And she said, You know how many times I ended up at 45 or 23 or 38 or 76. And that shows you how far you're gone with your concentration, with your capability of focus, of putting your focus. So, and like when you're able to have your mind for 5 minutes or 3 minutes counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. You start with one again. That's the thing. If you can do that for 5 minutes, then you enhance the meditation, but not before. And it's really, meditation is something very, it's just like, if imagine you want to be at the Olympics, you would not say, oh, you want to run 100 meters at the Olympics. You would not say training for that is stupid. You would not expect to be the fastest when you start with your first 100 meters, right? This is not what you would do. You'd be like, yeah, the physical body needs time to, build muscle and build the perfect time with and with the wind and everything. You would think that's so logical. And it's the same with meditation, actually. It's the same with having the capability of putting your focus at one thing and keep it there. That's the exactly same thing. You need to train that thing. And then when you can do that, when you have trained it, then you are able to maneuver yourself in your subconscious landscape. Because what's really interesting is, consciously, we all want to have a good life, right? Like, if you ask people, like, what would you like to have for your life? Everybody's like, love, peace, and happiness, a shit ton of money, and just fun, and like all of the good life. But that's not what you're trained subconsciously. And your subconscious belief patterns and your subconscious mind is reminding you with your current reality where it is, where you live in. And my teacher I love the subconscious teachings from my teacher, Hari Jivan. He's like, your subconscious landscape is like 800 by 800 square miles long, and your conscious is like 2 seconds. Depending on how you grew up, like where you grew up in your subconscious landscape, you're either living in a war zone where bombs are exploding all the time and where shit's going down, or you live not in a war zone. And in order for us to learn to maneuver ourselves through the patterning of our subconscious landscape, if, for example, someone has had a mother and a father which were probably but themselves not very aware, and they were probably taking drugs and alcohol, and there was sexual abuse, and the whole shitty story. And that's a lot of people. If you, as a baby in the mother's womb, that's where your subconscious landscape is built. This is really key to understand. In Kundalini Yoga, we have teachings for children before they are born. That's when the intelligence comes in. That's where the subconscious landscape is built. That's where the whole thing, the narrative is built.
What is it, 38 days after?
In Kundalini Yoga, we say the predisposition is done until the 120th day. And at the 120th day, the soul is coming in to the mother's womb. And the better the mother is equipped with techniques, with linking herself up to the infinity, the higher, the more space the soul has to bring more knowledge, more awareness, more vibration into the mother's womb, and the better the soul can maneuver itself. And those teachings are like, for me, if I get the chance to have a child this life, I will like for sure work with Kundalini yoga, because the teachings for children are so profound. I mean, it's a bomb. It's just so amazing. So you're born then, and you have this subconscious landscape of this not so positive place that you were born. So everything in your reality is showing you what your subconscious belief patterns are looking like. So if you grew up, if you have a subconscious belief that you're constantly lacking everything, you are, nobody can be trusted. What else could it be? Life is dangerous. You have to, you're on your own. Like that's all subconscious belief patterns. This is what you will have in your outer reality, because your reality today is a direct reflection of your inner subconscious landscaping. And what meditation does, it allows you to link to the higher realms, to infinity, in order to be clear, like, ooh, what did I manifest here again? Wait a second. What's the subconscious belief behind that? What do I believe that this is my reality? For example, I take me. I'm currently single again. So there is a subconscious belief within me that I found, that a mistrust in men. I don't trust men to be conscious, to be aware, to even want the best for a woman. It was that's what I found out. And what else could my reality show than men telling me, I want to marry you, I want to be with you, you're the love of my life, and 5 days later leaving me? What else could it be? That's how reality manifests. And it's your inner subconscious belief patterns that you manifest in your outside world. So when you're looking at things that you don't like in your reality, the only person and the only person and the only person that can change that is you yourself.
You're responsible.
It's, yes, and that hurts. You know how I would love to blame that guy that left me. I would love to say that, rah, 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 and he's just not strong enough, and rah, you know what people tell themselves. But no, it's me. There was something within me that wanted this so badly that I ignored the red flags. I ignored that our lives were not compatible. I ignored, I wanted it so bad to be working. And him as well. We both gave our best, but it just was not the case. So, yeah, I think this is really important. But that's very sovereign spiritual shit. Like, if you're at a level that you are accepting that you're creating your reality, then this is like very seldom. I don't know a lot of people that understand this in depth,
And there's a beautiful opportunity to be able to, one, forgiveness for the person, because you recognize it was a pattern within you, so you were manifesting that pattern. And there's another breaker here. You were manifesting them. I've done the same thing, manifesting them to help you see that pattern within you.
Yes, of course.
Now that awareness grows. A lot of times there was this, when I went through my fourth dark night of the soul, it was karma and attaching your tower moment to a person, place, or thing.
Yes.
When you attach your feelings, your thoughts, and everything to that person, to that situation, to that thing, you just generated karma. Now that has to play out. Now, if you're able to recognize before it happens, hey, you know what? These emotions that I have right now is not because of them. I'm generating these emotions.
Yeah.
This is taking full responsibility for this right here. The whole thing. A lot of people are scared to take responsibility for this. but
Of
it's
course.
100% all of us. It's you are your creator, you are your savior, you are your God. Okay, you are it. You're the one you're looking for. I say that so many times. You're what you're looking for.
Yes.
But what I realized, especially when I went through similar patterns as well, is all I wanted was to experience love. And I didn't know that I had a subconscious belief within me that I was unworthy of it. So I
Yeah.
would manifest partners who would show me the love that I thought that I wanted. And then in the same breath, take it away and walk away, which would mimic back to me the belief that I was unworthy of being able to experience it.
Yeah.
Now, when I recognized that, everything shifted. Now, being able to see those red flags, you see them before they even enter your life. You
Yeah.
start feeling the
Yeah.
situation out.
Yes.
And you're like, you
Yeah.
know what? I will not be talking to anyone that comes up to me in the next 2 days because I know that this is a red flag coming my way.
Yes. And I think this is like, maybe we have to find 1 million ways to teach what you mean with you are it. Because it's on a visceral experience, kinesthetic level, it's really difficult to understand that you are the God within you. You are the guru within you. You bring yourself from darkness to light. And it's really only when you start to experience that on a kinesthetic level that you feel, oh wow, I could change this pattern. I could change my reality. I have what I hear so often, and also with my ex-partner, he always used to say, I know I'm so sorry, but I cannot change the reality. And when you know. And I was like, yeah, you can. I mean, your reality is what you want it to be. You just decide you do this or that. You decide to co-create with the constructive energies or destructive energies. And whatever you decide will be your reality. So you can change. But there is a very interesting patterning that I see in a lot of people, and that is very common, especially with the light workers, the spiritual fam, the witches, and all those. It's the victim pattern. And I think we need to speak about the victim pattern. It's so important. Because whenever you're blaming someone else than you for your reality, is it your mother, your ex-partner, your boss, your whoever? What you do with that is you're going into the victim pattern. And what you want is you want to be saved.
So
And someone
basically,
to be a bad guy.
what's happening is you have poison and you want that person to die over there, but you're drinking it.
Yeah. That's what you do. Yes. And it's always a triangle pattern. This is the reason why war exists. Why we are currently living on the planet that we're living on is the victim. What's the bad guy called in savior, victim, and the bad person? I
The
don't know.
villain.
The villain. Yes, I love that word. It's from movies. The villain. Yes. So someone needs to be the villain and someone needs to be the victim. In this case, that would be probably you. And then but someone needs to be the savior. And this triangle creates so much drama and so much trauma. And it's really interesting when when this victim villain savior pattern is playing itself out, what the victim never wants is to be the villain. This is what the victim constantly pushes away. It's for a victim person, and this is very often they very often had difficult childhoods, and so they were victims of the reality. And what they do is they play that out. And for them, the worst case scenario on their whole incarnation is if they would be the villain, because they know how much that hurts. But what they do is they do exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
And this keeps you away from sovereign co-creation with the universe and from co-creating your life how you want it to be.
Yes, and also recognize you don't have to agree with what happened. You don't
No.
have to agree with the actions. You don't have to agree with how everything played out. You can say in a general sense to communicate, this person did this. But when you internalize it and you bring an identity along with it, that's where you need to find that and distance yourself from that victim mentality. Because it'll sneak in. It'll sneak in.
Yeah, it's really easy. I mean, it would be so like even for us. I don't know how you feel about that, but sometimes I'm saying like to my friends, to Bettina or to Martina, like the ones that work here with me. Sometimes I say like, it would be so nice to be able to blame someone else for my reality. I would love that.
I
Sometimes I
may
would
have
really
said
like.
that in quite a few dark nights of the soul, but
Yes, it's like, and it's, I mean, I'm laughing at the same time that I'm saying it, but would it be nice to blame everyone else? You know, it would be so simple. It would be like, oh, it's their fault, and then you can externalize all your self responsibility to someone else, and you don't have to. You know, it would be it's really nice actually to not be responsible for everything you perceive as reality, right? But at the same time, it takes your power away. And this is what you do when you're playing the victim card. And it's really interesting. As a healer, you will perceive that quite often. For those of you that are healers, light workers, all of that, it's very common that you're having clients. I have had that before. I worked with clients for a couple of months because they were highly depressed and suicidal. They changed, but for their friends, I was the villain because they changed. And so they were the victim, and they spoke to their friends, or they changed the behavior. So their friends were the saviors, and I was the villain, even though the reality of things was completely different.
yeah.
Because the person didn't speak about the depression and the suicidal thoughts with their friends because she didn't want to do that. And it's really interesting how the pattern's playing out. So the perception of reality is really interesting in that. And again, you playing the victim shuts you out of your sovereign power, of your co-creation power, and this is just not where you want to go, probably.
Yesterday when we were on the Zoom call, you were talking about a particular trauma therapy.
Yeah,
Can that being a victim hold on to that trauma energy? Maybe not in the physical body, but into the emotional and mental space.
Well, the victim pattern is really deeply rooted. It's sometimes even a higher reality that the soul comes here to perceive from this incarnation. So, yes, it can be the case, but
There's more that goes along with that.
it's a lot, actually. This victim pattern is really this victim savior villain triangle. This is actually the triangle of duality. I know it sounds strange, a triangle and dual, I know, but so the victim is the good, the light, the to be protected, the all that is holy and sweet. The villain is of course the dark, the evil, the rah, 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 the negative, the And the savior would be the neutral mind, the neutrality, right?
Right.
The God principle, basically. And this pattern, you can like look at wars. There is a country, in the country there's something going on and they have oil. Some other country comes and says their boss is a villain, they're the dictator. The other country comes in and kills the dictator plus the staff that are around there, and they are perceived as the savior, even though they're the villains. But depending on reality that you're in, they're the savior, right? They saved all these people in this country. So perception of reality and this triangle is really, it is the main reason why we have war. It is the main reason why we have so much shattered relationships. It is the main reason why things are falling apart.
It's the ego identity. It's the ego insanity, really. A lot of the times we think that we've adopted this ego insanity so well that it's not talked about mainstream. This is woo woo to talk about the mind.
Yeah.
And the identities that you create.
Yes. And it's really interesting. In the yogic teachings, they're 5,000 plus years old. It's said that in this time now, the time that we're living in now, 80% of the people will go insane. And this is the ego insanity that you just spoke about. And there were 20% of the people that will hold the connection to infinity and that will co-create the new world. But it will be very hard. And when I was hearing, those teachings in 2015 and 2012 with the Mayan calendar changing and all that, I was like, yeah, how bad can it get? I mean, let's be real. I mean, it's planet Earth. Let's relax. They say the thing is, the shit is going down, but how bad can it get? Well,
you never know.
You
never know. We are pretty creative.
Doing pretty good in that one. It's so strange. And so, in order for you to keep yourself in sanity, in order for you to live through these times in a prosperous, in an abundant, in a open-hearted mind way, in a compassionate way, please start meditating. It's a civil duty for the 20%. And if you belong to the 20%, please do your job.
You want to start feeling more prosperous? Here's a very simple way to just switch your perception. Every breath is prosperity. Every heartbeat is prosperity. Every time the food's digested is prosperity. Every time you stand, it's prosperity. Every time you sit, it's prosperity. Every time you lay down, it's prosperity. Every time you speak, it's prosperity. You are a walking, prosperous being. Every thought, no matter what it is, whether it's positive or negative, it does not matter. Every time a thought comes around, say, this is prosperity. You can witness the prosperous activity happening throughout the entire system.
Do you know that abundance song, this ching, ching, ching?
No, I don't.
It's from TikTok. I love it so much. It's like, wait, ching, 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 money comes to me, money flows, money. It's something like that. You have to look it up. It's really cool. But what it does is drawing in abundance and being aware of the abundance that you were just talking about, the prosper abundance that is there. Like, look around you. You have lights and you have things around you. It's all prosperity.
And if you don't, just check in with the system.
Yes, it's your reality that you just created for yourself.
Constantly. You are literally creating the person in front of you. You are creating their image. The light is shining into the retina, being flipped. You are seeing them inside your mind. You are creating every single being, person, thing. You are creating all of it.
So, as Dennis says, you are the one.
You're it.
You're it. And we will keep on going into this teaching, you are it, in from 20,000 different angles, and then you will get it at one point. And sometimes it's just, you get, for the first time you're listening to it, you get a grasp of that. You just, it's like an idea of what it is. But just keep on going, keep on doing, keep on listening. It will sink in. And all of a sudden it's there. All of a sudden you're like, what? How did that just happen? And you probably won't even realize it for a certain amount of time. And then you're looking back, you're like, where are those negative thoughts gone? Why are they not here anymore? I would love to say something to those running thoughts, to those negative thoughts that a lot of people seem to have and have. It is really important that you understand what you consume has a huge, and I don't mean a little, I mean a huge impact on your reality and on your thought pattern. So, thought is a wavelength. It's a vibration. Every thought is a vibration.
Yeah.
And when you're consuming a lot of TV series, a lot of radio, newspapers, news on TV, a lot of drama books, drama movies, what you're doing is you're having an, also social media, also you're having an intake of vibration. And we don't even judge that. But you need to understand, whatever you're taking in as a vibrational consumption is in your system, and you would need to transform it. But you don't have the techniques because you probably don't meditate yet. So one of the most effective things to do, go a week without newspapers, without any news TV series, without radio, and without TV. And see how your emotional body cleanses. Because what you're doing is, whenever you're watching news, and in the news, unfortunately, they're not showing the nice things, right? They're showing the terrible things that happen on planet Earth, which have basically nothing to do with your reality. Nothing. But you look at it. So what your body's doing is it's creating hormones. It's creating fear hormones. It's creating stress hormones. It's creating all those cortisol patterns. And that makes you having sleep deprivation, insomnia. It makes you feel, as a man, not able of connecting with women because it lowers your testosterone level. Very important, by the way. Very important for the men. Fear is lowering testosterone. It makes you not be feeling man enough. It's a very critical teaching for men. So stop it. Just stop it for a week. Try what it does to you. Eating meat. The meat has so much fear hormones in it because the animals, when they die, they're sending out fear hormones. Stop eating meat for a week. Look what it does to you. Test it out. Test, what am I intaking? And it's not just food or sweet drinks like Coca-Cola and all those sweet things. Even though when they're diet Cokes, when they're having this fake sugar, try to go for water for a week. Try it out, different things. And my clients, the biggest steps towards clarity are very often when they start to realize what they're consuming on all levels is making them sick, is making them not feel well. What do you think about that, Dennis?
Well, I've been able to witness it within myself and recognize that the mind is a mirror, certain parts of the mind. And if you're not aware enough, the information that's coming in, if you're not aware enough, there's no filter to block what comes in and doesn't. You just accept it. And it just goes in and you identify with it. Now, if you have enough awareness, why meditation is important, you have enough awareness that you're able to recognize, so meditation is important. You're able to recognize this information. So therefore, you can still stay informed with the world and what's happening, but you're not totally identified and invested in it. You're able to, there's a beautiful teaching. A lot of people say, I need to stay away from negative people. I need to stay away from negative circumstances and situations. No. Be the lotus flower. The lotus flower grows in muddy water. And it's still beautiful. It's the same situation. Allow yourself to be so aligned, because meditation is important. Make sure that you're so aligned.
Love it.
That no matter what's happening around you, in here is taken care of.
Yeah. But if this requires a very strong auric field. It's not only a mental decision to not allow the things in. It also needs a very strong aura. Your auric field is your magnetic field, actually. We're like, how turtles move around the planet Earth, right? I love this story. It's one of my favorite teachings. I give it to all my clients. So I will give it to you all as well. So, turtles are born they're in an egg in the sand on a beach somewhere on planet Earth. And then they someday they come out and they crawl out of the little sand hole, and then they're trying to get into the water. So most of them make it into the water, and they're mini turtles. And then they start swimming, and then they swim the ocean for thousands of miles and kilometers. Thousands of kilometers. And those turtles swim and they grow and they grow and they grow. And years later, when they are ready to have their own eggs, you know what they do? They come back to the same beach. And you know how? Because they don't have a navigation system, but they are a navigation system. What they do is they navigate themselves with the magnetic field of the places of the earth. So their turtle body remembers the magnetic field of this coast that I came by, and I came by this place, and I came by this place, and they all feel different. So they find their way back to the beach they were born. And that's where they lay their eggs. And we as human, we're not different from turtles at all. Like if you tell anybody, like there are places you go and you're like, oh my God, this feels so good. And then there are other places you go and you're like, oh no, thank you. Nah, that's not my vibrational match. That's exactly that. So we are turtles. We have a magnetic field, and our magnetic field is called aura. That's what they call it in the spiritual realm. And so your magnetic field, when you're not aware, it has some holes. Alcohol makes holes in it. Marijuana, drugs, trauma, all that creates holes in your auric field. So shit's coming in. So in order for you to block out shitty vibrations, you need to have a very strong auric field. That's why I do yoga. Those ancient techniques, yoga, meditation, all that, is to cleanse your auric field, whereas your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body, your negative mind, your positive mind, they're the subtle body, they're the radiant body. They're like tons of body in your auric field. And what you want to do is you have it clear and clean and strong. So the reality that is coming at you is kept outside of your physical body. So you have the calm inner, your array of light, basically. That's the goal. And I think it's just really, really, it's key to understand those old teachings. And it would be really nice if there would be a shortcut, like the shortcut to enlightenment. But I mean, you know how shit's going down when the dark nights of the soul come around the corner. And
There will be a day. Listen, you know, this is one of the
yes,
things. We have ancient teachings that have been passed on for millennia. There's going to be new teachings.
yes. The ones that we have are the new teachings. The ones that you give out are the new teachings. It's the time now for those new teachings. It's the Aquarian age. So, what I'm trying to say is when you're not yet there at the point of enlightenment that Dennis has reached, and you try to, you know, you're strong, but you're not yet so strong that you can make it on your own, grab those ancient teachings. They're here. Like, use them. It's here. Like, in the past, they were not even available for everyone. Like, there was one thing available from one teacher to one student, and they were practicing this one thing for their whole life. And today, you Google it, you have it all. I mean, it's crazy. It's so nice, right? So utilize what there is. And then your aura will be very strong, and you won't, you know, what's currently done with the fear pattern that is going out. Trauma is always held in the first, second, and third chakra. So the patterning with the media and with the news and all is vibrating on a level for those chakras. And strengthen yourself and meditate.
Meditate.
Do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is so amazing to be a human being. Just being a human being. Before, I wanted to not be a human being. I was like, I'm done with this body. I'm done being human. I'm sick of it. And I absolutely love being human. It is such a treat. It is such a gift. It really is.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's the best. I think, do you want to guide a little meditation for our, because we're always saying they should meditate, but maybe you could guide a meditation for everyone.
Yeah, might as well.
You may close your eyes, I think.
You can meditate with your eyes closed or open, but whatever's more comfortable for you. Go ahead and relax your shoulders. I invite you to allow any thoughts or bodily functions to happen and just witness as they happen. You don't have to push them away, just allow them to be there and just bring your attention back right here, following the voice. In a moment, we're going to take some deep breaths together. As we take the in breath, we will keep our full attention on the breath going in through the nostrils all the way down deep into the abdomen, and then we will hold it for 2 to 3 seconds. And then we will exhale, also following the breath from the abdomen all the way out the nose. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And slowly exhale, following the breath with your attention. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. And slowly exhale, following the breath. One more deep breath in through the nose. Hold it. Feel the life force energy flowing through you. And slowly exhale. Now, if you did close your eyes, or if your eyes are open now, I invite you to just take a look around wherever you are. Don't label anything where you are, just witness and allow everything to be exactly as it is. Are you aware that you're aware? Thank you.
That was a beautiful ending.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like our podcast, then follow along. We will have it weekly. And we would love to hear from you. If you have any wishes, what we talk about, or any particular ideas, hit us up and we will do that.
Yeah. My social is I.Am.Oneness on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the works. Do a weekly tarot. I know if you've probably been following these past few podcasts, you know about this, but check them out. You can check them out on Alley Vision as well. Alley.vision.
That was really good. Yeah. We are co-creating for Alley Vision, and my name is Nicole Ahyanah on Instagram and nowhere else. No, on Facebook and all that. You just do you, and have an amazing week, you guys. And thank you so
Absolutely.
much for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.